Welcome to Lock It Down Sports. I'm your host, Locke Hoover. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter at Lock It Up Media. That's Lock It Up Media on Twitter. You can also follow us at E5280 Sports. That's E5280 Sports. And today on Lock It Down Sports, when is it time for this team to start playing for the now? The SEC plans this season. The next thing the NFL is going to open up for bidding, and the impact this guy has made on a university. And that's where I want to open up today's show on the impact that Hendon Hooker has made in Knoxville. I know it's now been 2 years since he's been gone, but to me, he was really a foundational piece and got this program back in a upward trajectory. The arrow's definitely been pointing up since Hooker was the quarterback in Knoxville. And it completely changed the outlook on Josh Heupel, what he can do as a coach, and if his offense is real and what he can do coaching quarterbacks. Now, remember, back in 2021, Hooker wasn't even the starting quarterback. He lost the job to Joe Milton, and Milton got hurt that year, and Hooker did not let go of the starting job after that. And rightfully so, what he did, how he led the team, and the production he put up. So, Hooker was a transfer. Maybe you didn't remember. He was a transfer from Virginia Tech. And he was only a so-so player there. And when he transferred to Knoxville, I was like, all right, well, we'll see what happens. No excitement, no, fist pumping, not a cool. We're not, oh, yes, we're getting a Justin Fields that Ohio State got. Ooh, we're getting a Joe Burrow. All right, cool. We're ready. It's all right, 2 measly so-so seasons at Virginia Tech. So, for example, granted, this was his sophomore year, but 19 combined games. He passed for 2,894 yards, 22 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. First season in Knoxville, 13 games, passed for 2,945 yards, 31 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Redshirt senior year, second year in Knoxville, 11 games, 3,135 yards, 27 touchdowns, 2 picks. Oh, yeah, he was 5th in the Heisman and a 3rd-round pick. All very unexpected. Every last bit of that. I mean, coming into his junior year, he wasn't expected to get drafted. Maybe it was, okay, why not? We'll take a 6th, 7th round flyer on him, or okay, we like him as a potential undrafted guy, get him in camp, see what happens. Maybe he's a practice squad guy. I mean, that was really the outlook of a Hendon Hooker when he came to Tennessee and what he transformed the offense to being. And that success, I believe, has really led to where Tennessee is now at the quarterback position, especially when it comes to their quarterback room and their recruits. So we've got the presumed starter, 5-star quarterback now, in Nico, 2023, number 6 overall player, 3rd-ranked quarterback. Okay, the 2024 class, we got 4-star Jake Merkling, the 201st overall player, 12th ranked quarterback in the country. 2025, 4-star in some ratings, 5-star ratings, and others, George Mantry, the 50th overall player, the 8th ranked quarterback. And then player who just committed last week in the 2026 class, another 5-star, Faison Brandon, the 12th ranked player overall, a second ranked quarterback overall. So those 3 cycles, and I'm counting the 2023, 2024, and 2025. The quarterback ranking averages of those 3 a 7.67. So that is the best in each class. Like I said, that does not count Faison Brandon in the 2026 ranking class. So only Texas has a better quarterback ranking of those 3 classes. Now, because we're in 2024 NIL era in the portal area, 1 or 2 of those quarterbacks will transfer out. I mean, you can just about guarantee that. But know what it does? It makes your room better. It's making guys look over their shoulder and compete at the highest level to win that job, to win that backup quarterback job. It's not just going to be handed to you now because, you know what? You invest a lot of NIL money in me. I'm a 5-star guy, and I'm the best guy in the room. No, you've got 4 or 5-star guy behind you, 4 or 5-star guy behind you, and 4 or 5-star guy behind you. Cream of the crop, top quarterbacks behind you, and they continue to push each other each and every day at practice, at off season, in the weight room, all that, in the quarterback room, all that. And I think if kids didn't see what Heupel could do with Hendon Hooker, I don't know if he's getting it. I don't think he's getting the talent he would have that he's gotten right now already at quarterback. I don't think there's any way. Yeah, maybe you get Nico because there's a heavily reported a lot of NIL investment in him. But I don't think you would get 4 and 5 stars in the 24, 25, and 26 class, seeing that Nico is going to be the guy and I'm gonna have to sit. I don't want to do that. I'll go somewhere else. But no, it's Heupel's offense, what he's done, what he can bring, and what Hendon Hooker did in that offense to make it impressive. And you might say, oh, it's gimmicky, or they don't do a lot. They don't have to do a lot. Hooker said, oh, I read all the options, but when Jan Hyatt's wide open, how am I not supposed to pass to him on a 15-yard hitch and go or a 15-yard slant across, you know? So that's, it is an offensive dream, but that's part of it. And that's what making these kids come thanks to what Hendon Hooker did in 2 years in Knoxville under Josh Heupel. And I only think that's going to continue to build if Nico has success. And then whoever the quarterback is after Nico, one of those 3. Because it's not going to be all 3 of them. It's not going to be Merkling, McCantry, and Brandon. It's not going to be all 3 of them. It's going to be one of those 3, maybe 2 of those 3. They continue their success. It's just going to continue to breathe competition into that quarterback room. And if you got a quarterback, you've got a chance. And it'll also help you with recruits. They'll self-recruit. Yo, come play with me. We're going to get a natty. Come play with me. I'm going to lead you to a championship. It's me, baby. So that's all very important in the whole grand scheme of things of the quarterbacks and the players recruiting the players, which I think says a lot, and you see it a lot with these top-tier quarterbacks. Something that hasn't been top-tier is the Atlanta Braves this season. And now it's August, guys. Now's the time. And you ask, like, what do I mean now's the time? Now's the time, in my opinion, for the Braves starting pitching staff to start on their turn. This whole season, the Braves have rested and pushed back Chris Sale, Max Fried, Ronaldo Lopez to be ready and healthy for the playoffs. And early on, oh, okay, cool. Foregone conclusion, the Braves are going to get in. The offense is going to click. The offense is going to get going. Riley's going to mash. Marcel's going to mash. Olson's going to mash. Murphy's going to mash. Acuna's going to mash. Michael Harris is going to be solid. You know, all these things we're going to be fine. Oh, the offense will pick it up. It's early. It's fine. We're okay. Look where we are, guys, now. It's August. The pitching has continued to be great. The offense, not so much. So the Braves are 23rd in total runs scored. 23rd in all of Major League Baseball. You asked Locke, what are they in the National League? I'm glad you asked. They're 14th out of 15th in the National League in runs scored. 14th out of 15th. I mean, this is your team now. You can't say, well, we're going to get going. It's early. It's early. Okay, it's a little bit before the All-Star. No, it's past the All-Star break. We're into August. We're in the dog days of August, early August. This is who you are at this point. Yeah. Person get hot. Atlanta Garcia, he's been swinging good in the second half. Riley's been good since a little bit before the All-Star break. Marcel's been hitting it all season. Yes, you're injured with Ozzie out, with Michael Harris out. You got those two out, obviously. Acuna, I don't even need to mention him because he's done for the season. He's not coming back. You're now 7.5 where they lost this, or so 8.5 out of first place. But, excuse me, about to sneeze there. Sorry, y'all. You're no longer even the third wild card spot. You're a half game behind the Mets in the wild card spot. So therefore, you're in third place in the division. And you're not, if the playoffs started today, you're not in them. You need to start winning now, and you can't keep pushing back your starting pitchers at this point. Sale has pitched on regular rest once during his first 5 starts in the second half. So when you add up all that time, that's 23 days total between adding up all that extra rest. 23 days. Do you know what that is? That's 3 or 4 starts, depending on how you want to play it, he could have had. The most dominant pitcher in Cy Young conversation has missed 3 or 4 starts. And say it is 4 starts, say the Braves win 3 of those 4 games. It's looking like that could be a big deal. Heck, even if it's 4 of those starts and the Braves win 2 games, that's tightly bunched as these wild card teams are, that could be a big deal. I mean, also when it comes to this starting pitching staff, I only trust 3 of them. And with Lopez on the IL, I could see that at some point with him, they were going to need for him to rest and space him out because he's never thrown this many. It's been a while since he's thrown this many innings. But with he's out, I'm currently on, and we don't know when he's going to come back. They're expecting it to be soon, but he's still going to be out 15 days after they waited and waited and waited. And then I IL'd him. And the 3-act start, I feel good about our Sale, obviously. Max Fried, I feel good about, and he was so in his first start, not great off the IL against the Fish, the Marlins. And then the third one, Spencer Strolling back. These last 4 or 5 starts, he's been great. Absolutely great. Then you have 40-year-old flip of a coin Morton at this point. It's good start, Charlie, then bad start, bad start, so to okay, not great start, maybe a good start, bad start, Charlie Morton at this point. That's not good enough this year, especially with this where the Braves offense is. I mean, you can get away with 5 innings of 5-6 run ball sometimes, and your offense last year would bail you out. That's not where the Braves are this year. So you're looking at Sale, you feel good at. Fried, you feel good at. I don't feel good with Charlie. And I feel good with Swellenbach, but they're trying to limit his innings since he's only thrown 65 innings last year between the minor leagues, and he didn't even throw that much in college. He's already had 108 and 2/3 total this year between the big leagues and the minors. And obviously we know how much of a difference and how much more stress those big league innings are compared to the minor league innings. Sale needs to start every 5th day now. Fried needs to start every 5th day now. When Ronaldo Lopez comes back, every 5th day back. They've got to get into the playoffs, right? It's, once we get the dance, we feel good. When we get the conversation was early on, when we get the dance, this offense, not as good, but you feel good with Fried, Sale, and Lopez. Now that conversation shifted a little bit of if we get in, can we get in? We feel good if we get in. How about let's make sure we get in, and then I would feel good. And that's where we're at because this offense hasn't been able to cover up some of the warts, some of the issues with that 5th starter spot, with a bad Charlie Morton start. Go look at Charlie's number in the second half. They haven't been good. He just got shared the other day against Milwaukee. Not ideal, and the Braves really need every starter to go out there and throw well now, based on how this offense is compared to last year. And they need to play and just try to get in now. And yes, I agree. Once they get in, if they get in, you feel good with Fried, Sale, Lopez. You feel good with those 3, and then do you go Morton, do you go Swellenbach as your 4-game starter? Put the other one in the pen, you feel good. Now it's a matter of if, not can they or when. And speaking of what they're going to do, how they're going to handle it, that's the SEC. As it's come out recently that the playoff poll will not be part of the SEC championship tiebreaker. Now, this year, the SEC is not going to be in divisions. It's 1 through 16, with the top 2 schools going to the championship game. And I like that personally, where the best 2 schools are going to be in the title game. And we know now how important and how big it is to win your conference and be a champ based on how the 12-team playoff is now. Obviously, you'd be a top 4 seed and have a first-round bye. That means there's more weight on it now than in the past, when the loser of that game could potentially miss the playoffs in a 14 playoff. And we've seen it. We've seen it a handful of times. You have a 1-loss Alabama, 1-loss LSU sitting there. They didn't make the playoff. They didn't make the conference championship game. The Western team lost, puts them at 2 or 3 losses. They don't make the playoffs. Alabama or LSU with a 1-loss team makes it in. And we've seen that. Same thing with Georgia as well. So I think that's going to change a little bit. Now, the Big 12 and the ACC use head-to-head winners, winning percentage against tied teams, and winning percentage against common opponents. So that's some of their breakdown. Then they use a further rating tiebreaker is team score rating. And I was like, what in the wide world of sports is a team score rating? So I had to look it up. It is a combination of strength of schedule, non-conference winning percentage, and individual statistics that are a mix of raw, tempo, adjusted, opponent adjusted, and efficiency measures. Yes, it's a mouthful. So I kind of like some of that. I do. I would expect the SEC to be more in line with very similar. I mean, some of it's like brands. Obviously, your head to head, your winning percentage, that sort of things, etc. Something else I think I would like to see to show who like really the better team is and who deserves it. I would like to see wins versus top 25 schools as a tiebreaker, as one of the criteria in the breakdowns. And with that top 25, I go even more, a little bit more in depth. Make it teams in the top 25 after week 4 or week 5, just to show that you beat a better quality opponent and team. And what I mean by that is a top 25 school, say in weeks 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4, jump off to a 4-0 start, a 3-1 start, but then they nosedive and they finish 6-6, 7-5. That shows you really didn't beat a top 25 team. Yeah, maybe at the time is the argument, but you got to carry out that consistency and how good you are throughout the regular season, in my opinion. So I think that would be a cool addition as a tiebreaker to say, know what, you are the better quality team. And yeah, some of that is maybe a little bit of luck of your schedule, but I think that plays into it as well, of scheduling quality teams and opponents, where that might be a deciding factor. And that, I think that's important. That's a thing. Now, the other thing the SEC is probably going to do, it hasn't been confirmed or anything like that, is moving towards a NFL type style of mandatory injury reports. Big 12, Big 10 has already started to do that. They did that, I think, the last 2 years, I believe. Or maybe at least last year for sure, maybe last 2 years. Obviously, most SEC coaches don't like giving an injury report before the game because it gives the other team information they don't want to release until the start of the game. So basically what that means is, the example in the NFL, is he out or is he out? Is he questionable? Is he probable? Like the fantasy football, out, questionable, probable. And I mean, I get it on both ends, but and on the coach's side, it's really about game planning. If, for example, if so-and-so's out, we might attack him different. Do we have to plan? Do we have to prepare for that wide receiver, for that running back, for that defensive end? That safety. Okay, you know what? Maybe we can attack the middle of the field a little bit more because that starting safety's out. That All-American safety's out. The All-American corner's out. You can game plan a bit different. But honestly, you've become a pro league because of all the money coming in and coming out. The NIL, how it's structured now, the 1 through 16, your conference in college football, that's what you are. I mean, I get it it takes away control from these coaches. And as sure as heck, they do not like to give up any control, as they want control in every aspect of their program. Speaking of control, we're going to see what the NFL does when it comes to controlling the NFL draft. And what I mean by that is NFL drafting rights. The NFL draft themselves, TV rights on ESPN are up in 2026. So, reading names off a card has become a big business. And I could see them setting up a bid on who gets exclusive rights or rights to draft, to carry the NFL. So I did a little deep dive, a little look. I was like, okay, I'm curious to see the breakdown of the numbers of the NFL draft round by round. So 12 million watched the first round across all networks. So ESPN, ABC, and the NFL Network. Big number. Now let's look at the other rounds. Rounds 2 and 3, 5.1 million. The last 4 rounds, just under 3 million. So the overall average of the entire draft, 5.7 million viewers watch the draft. The way the NFL is, it would not surprise me one bit if they opened it up for bids and you've got Amazon, Fox, CBS, NBC, ESPN, NFL Network all in to see if they can bid to air the draft. Now, as a fan, I think it would be bad if it's exclusively on one network. I mean, because did I watch all the draft? No, of course, absolutely not. Did I watch some of it? Yeah. Did I watch the first round? Of course, I watched most of the draft. Yeah. It's a 3-day event now. But I enjoy the differences of scouting reports and breakdowns on all the different networks. ABC had a different crew from ESPN, even though obviously ESPN owns ABC. You had more of the college crew on ABC with Chris Fowler and Herbie and all of them. The standard ESPN crew with Kuiper Jr., etc. And then you had the NFL Network crew, and their analyst and announcer. So you had 3 different options, and I think that's a good thing. And I'm sure the NFL, I wouldn't put it past them, would try to set up a bid for each round. Okay, who wants to bid air just the first round? Okay, rounds 2 through 3, 4 through 7. I don't believe any network would be willing to do that because they all want the first round, obviously because of the numbers and what it does. And I think the numbers and ratings were really helped because it was on ABC, a national network. Easier to get, easier to watch with different eyeballs. Now, if it went to Amazon, I don't think it would do as well numbers-wise because everyone doesn't have Amazon. If it went to Amazon, I wouldn't watch the draft. I don't have Amazon. I don't have Prime. And you know what? I would be okay with that. Why? Because honestly, I'm a college football fan. You don't know half the guys they draft. You know your team, maybe you know your conference. Oh, he's an SEC guy. He was a Big 12 guy. He was an ACC guy, Big 10 guy. Unless you're scout, you can do the deep dives and the okay, yeah, you're okay. So you can play this bad player, etc. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you, yeah, I watched a lot of Arizona State football and that corner. I really love that corner out of Arizona State. That safety out of Oregon. I might have watched maybe a game or two of Oregon, a national game, but no, I didn't watch Oregon Stanford this year. I didn't watch USC Washington State. I didn't watch Ohio State Purdue. I didn't. So I why would I watch Amazon or get Prime to see? Heck, I don't even know half the. And it's like to go shoot. I don't know half the guys my team drafted. I don't know that guy from Bowling Green from Fresno State in the fifth, sixth, seventh round that they drafted. Yeah, I'll go later and read the report of the write up of the blog sites that I follow, and check out. But no, I'm not going to get Amazon just for the draft that night. So it's a wait and see. It would not surprise me if they did auction off the draft at some point when the rights are up. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Lock It Up Media. That's Lock It Up Media on Twitter. I'm Locke Hoover. You've been listening to Lock It Down Sports. Talk to you next week.